that was so abrupt.
That was a fun video. I see that I lost the video war. I had made one. I'm just gonna share mine anyway.
Okay.
Share my screen. So hey everybody, I'm Alice Keeler. I'm here with
Melody and McAllister. It's so nice to be reunited with my big sis. My big bossy sis.
Anyway, we were trying to see who could make the opening video the fastest, and she won. Here's the one I made. Wait a minute, that was the wrong button. I pushed this one.
You gave it some dark music, Alice.
It's kind of like Game of Thrones a little bit. But I just listened to the preview in Canva. I love Canva. I have like Canva addiction. Okay, but so I wanted to share this. This is like my new favorite thing. All right, I'll just stop it. And I'll get rid of my screen share. I have Slides Timer by Clay Smith. So if you just do a Google search for Slide Space Timer, it is a Chrome extension. And then it turns your Google Slides into this countdown timer. So that literally took me 30 seconds to make this.
You can tell, Alice.
So anyway, I'm
cute.
I'm having fun with my new toys, right? I'm digging this countdown timer thing I could put in my slides. But we're not here to talk about slides.
No, we're here to talk about Spaces.
Yes, and Spaces is hosting the Coffee EDU on Tuesday.
Yes.
Melody, has it been like a year since I've seen you?
No, it's only been like 2 months, like in March. Remember, we were in California together.
Oh, we were at the Q conference together, and we're going to be together again. It feels like it's been a year since you've been in my house.
It has been. It's almost been a year. It's almost been a year. My kids are like, when are we going back to Kansas? And it's so funny. You may not know this, and why would anybody else know this? But I'm from the Midwest originally. I spent many of my growing up years in Kansas, mostly the Manhattan, Topeka, Wamego area. And Alice lives there. And now I live in Alaska. And you actually grew up here for your first 12 years of life.
I did. So 7, well, whatever. It wasn't 12 years. I lived there for 7 years. But regardless of which, we're going to be together for coffee, because who doesn't love coffee? So we're doing Coffee EDU at ISTE. So anyone out there who's going to be at ISTE, please be sure to join us Tuesday morning in room
386. It's all on this form. It's all in this form, 386 in the Convention Center. And yes, Spaces are sponsoring it with Epic Games. Steve Isaac is awesome, and he let us co-sponsor. He's got a room. He's got a lot going on there too. Yeah.
For those of you who are not going to be at ISTE, if you're hashtag not at ISTE, please host your own Coffee EDU.
Yeah.
It can be done by anybody. It's 1 hour exactly to the minute, unconference style. So you don't pick a topic in advance. You just show up and meet up with educators and talk about whatever you want. And it's always, always a very good time. So please host.
Oh my gosh, that's such a great idea, Alice. In fact, you could get educators in your community together, whether it's virtual or in your actual community, have coffee together, use the hashtag not at ISTE and Coffee EDU. And we would love to see. And you're right, it is so fun. The last time we had coffee together, Alice was at Q, and we did Spaces sponsored that one as well, and it was fun. And we just talked. Sometimes educators just need to decompress together and talk about issues. So I love that we just show up and we talk about whatever is on our minds, and we can talk about more than one thing. It's not one more thing you have to plan.
For sure, just show up. It's super easy to do. So please consider hosting a Coffee EDU and joining us on Tuesday at 8 a.m. if you are in New Orleans. Now, what you might want to talk about.
Not just coffee, but beignets too. We are in New Orleans. Okay.
What you might want to talk about at Coffee EDU, because it is whatever you want to talk about, is reading logs.
Yay! I love this. Okay. First of all, yes. Okay. Reading logs is not okay. Honestly, I could do a reading log. I struggle with writing down the food that I eat to try to lose weight. I cannot do that, but I'm actually a reading log person. So I know that there's people out there that love reading logs, and we're not trying to shame you, reading log lovers, because that's not what we're here to do. But when it comes to reading engagement, reading logs just isn't happening. Okay.
It's not an engagement tool.
It's not. It's like, check it off the list, but are your readers getting anything out of what they're actually reading? Are they learning? That is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah,
With spaces.
I'm really excited. I'm looking at it like, what can we do instead of the reading log? Because like you said, it's not an engagement tool. And what does it really tell you? Did they flip through the pages? Did they just write it down? You don't really know if they comprehended it or if they enjoyed it.
Right. And Alice and I are both also on the same. We don't like homework. We are like, ditch it, right? Like, is that trademarked? I hope not. Don't come at me.
I have a book called Ditch That Homework that I co-authored with Matt Miller. But reading's really not homework. A reading log is homework, right? So reading, in fact, one of the things that's the most highly correlated, and I'm not a really big fan of correlational studies, but just forget that part, right? The biggest predictor if your kid will be awesome in life is if you read with your kid. Just read with your kid. Like, make a habit of just reading with them and they'll be great. That is my, I'm not even going to cite any, I'm just saying that. I'm just going to say that.
And the thing is, and we know that to become better readers, we have to read. So even though we're not promoting homework, daily reading actually is essential to becoming a better reader. And engaging with your text is the best way to keep kids, keep going back to reading. And I'm also the proponent, like, if they like graphic novels and that's their end to reading, use it.
Read.
I want my kids to read chapter books too. And I try to make it a variety, but you know what? If the only thing I can get them to read is a magazine or a graphic novel, hey, they're reading and I'm happy, and a lot of times that curiosity comes from that. And I'm able to, like, hey, find a book on something that piqued their curiosity. So let me know.
Great book to read with kids, Melody.
What?
I really like to read with my kids the I'm Sorry story. Have you heard of that?
I have. Thank you for saying that. In fact, I read this for the first time. Thank you for saying that. This is a book that I wrote as a fifth grade teacher. And I just read it for the first time with my little 3-year-old or 4-year-old. He's 4. Oh my gosh, my 4-year-old. He asked me to read it to him. And I'm like, I didn't know if he could sit through it because it gets kind of wordy, I wrote it for like the middle grades, especially. But thank you for saying that. And I do have a lesson plan with this. We'll return to this. Thank you for mentioning that. And I just happen to have it, by. Let me know when you're ready and I'll start showing what you can do with spaces.
Yeah, let's talk about spaces. So first of all, what is spaces? Give me the elevator pitch.
Right. So spaces, number one, I want to tell you this, is free for teachers. And everything that I show you today is free. So if you like it, you can start doing it immediately. You just need to go to spacesedu.com. And I am the community advocate, educator advocate. So if you go to facebook.com/group/spacesedu, what you see on the ticker, you will join a wonderful educator community that Alice and I are both in, and we'd love to have you there. Anyway, Spaces EDU is a great way. It's a teaching tool that you can actually use whatever type of teaching, whether you're face-to-face, virtual, a mixture, you can use it and it's engaging. You can use it for, an assessment, like an authentic assessment. But I love it especially because it helps build that community. And then you can also have these different spaces. You have a group space, which you do group work in. You have a class space, which you just, that's kind of like your social media feed. It looks like a lot of social media where you can do the carpet time. And maybe for older students, you wouldn't pull them into, the carpet, but you can have like a space where everybody is sharing and collaborating. And then you have individual spaces where you can use that for self-reflection or portfolios. I like to use it for self-reflection, and I'll show you how I use that today to get more engagement so we can scrap those reading logs.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm excited to see how you use spaces
All right.
an alternative to reading logs. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and it always looks really weird at first, so I apologize for that. And then I won't be able to, so can you control the banners too?
Can I control the banners?
Yeah, and I'm sorry for this ugly.
I literally don't know how to do it.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Okay, that's fine. Tell me that you can see the spaces right now.
I can see the ticker. I can see the screen share. Like, everything's good. I think we're good.
Okay.
Can you do Control Plus though? Maybe make it a little bit bigger.
Okay. Control
Command Plus on Mac.
Did it do it? Oh my God! I've never done that before.
Oh, okay. Well, Control Plus zooms in. Control minus.
Oh my gosh!
Now do Control 0 to return your zoom. If you are doing screen sharing, this is really a key shortcut to make sure people can read.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I just learned something from you, Alice, and I didn't know it was possible. I'm just joking. I love learning from you. Okay. So what you're seeing right now, after you sign up, you go to spacesedu.com. I would sign in with your Google. It is free. And what you're looking at right now is all the classes. So like if you're a secondary teacher, middle school, high school, you would have all these different classes, like probably for each period, or maybe you ran a club or some sort of extracurricular. These are your class spaces. Okay. And I'm just going to go into one class space, and this holds all the other spaces, but this might be a little bit too large. Is it a little too large?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, great. Okay, so now this is our Spring into Spaces class. And I love this. What I would suggest, so let's say that you have read a book with your class. Maybe it's a chapter book with older students. Maybe it's a picture book, whatever. Go into the class space, your main feed, okay, and post something. You would make a post. It's really easy. You can actually create a video within the platform and say, hey guys, and hold your book up. Say, this is the I'm sorry story. Oh, and this is the creation. This is so wonderful. You've got all of these different ways to choose. Maybe you made a Canva image or an Adobe Spark or Express, sorry, not Spark, and you want to upload it. You can do that from any of your drives. You can share a link. Maybe you just want to share a link to the book, or you can take a picture, like a selfie, or a video. I love the video.
That's one of my favorites is I can do the video or camera.
Yes. Kids love it. Our students love it. Also, you can teach digital citizenship. One of my students tried to make her own YouTube out of it. And I said, no, this is school. This is not YouTube. Also, I just want to point out the audio feature. If you don't record like as a video, using the audio for everything really helps those students that are not strong readers or that may need to hear it over and over and over. I would just suggest using audio to really pull in students for whatever reading level that they're in. And it also models that they can use it as well. So anyway, let's create a post. You want to get your kids reading. So you want to first model it with your students. So this is the class feed. And you're going to say, let's say that we already read the story together. How did the main...
Let's talk about your book, right? How would you say you're sorry?
Oh my God, I love that. What are 3 steps to say sorry? Everything is kind of being slow right now.
Yeah. When you're streaming things, everything runs really slow. It's just
right.
Used to be more patient, drink more coffee, be more patient. Just things that I'm not is patient. Hey, so Melody, I found a video of you where I can prove that you already knew Control Plus and Control Minus. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Don't show it. Don't show it
in the chat.
Don't even show it. Okay, moving on. Okay, so you're making a post for your class. 3 steps to saying I'm sorry. And I'm not going to type it because I don't want to it's too slow. But in the description, you can write, how did the main character learn how to say I'm sorry? And once you've created that, you hit next. And again, you choose whatever space you want to put it in. I would suggest the class space because you're modeling what you want your students to do. And then it's just very easy. Spaces is very it's very user friendly. You don't need, And then you can choose, let's say you don't want this. I would select all students in the class feed, but if there's anybody that you needed, to differentiate, you can do that as well. Okay. So this is not going to be a very wonderful post because obviously it's going really slow. But look, we have somebody. Hi, Michelle. I'm trying to get to my class. My post. This, you know what? There we go.
Control Minus, and then
Control Minus. Okay. Thank you because there we go. That's big, but also not too big. Right. Okay. Right. So. If I were actually doing this with my class, I would make it a little bit more fancy, but you don't have to. 3 steps to saying I'm sorry. And then you would ask your class to share. They would be able to use the same features, whether it was audio, video, sharing a link, or uploading a file. And they can share their feedback, okay? And then you have this conversation going, all right? So you've modeled it as a class. And I have a lesson plan to help you with this, and I'll drop it in just a minute when I'm not on this. If it's in the private chat, Alice, if you want to grab it and share it in the comments.
Okay, I can do it.
But it's okay if you don't.
What am
but
I
another okay, it's called book chats.
Okay. So here's the thing, is because remember when I accidentally kicked the power cord out of the wall?
Yes.
All of the chats are gone.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll find it.
Anisla, sorry.
I'll find it. It's okay. Okay. And so anyway, this is your class space. And the cool thing about it is students can actually give you an emoji. Maybe they love it. And another thing about this class space is sometimes, we have students that will never say anything like in a physical class. They're too shy. Right. Maybe they're introverted. Maybe they've never felt valued for what they share before. So this is a really good way to knock down some of those barriers. Students feel a little bit more comfortable. I mean, if you think about, my kids love Fortnite, my students love Fortnite or Minecraft, they're always sharing. So being able to share in kind of like a social media type space, which this is not, it looks like it, but it's a lot safer than social media, right. But it gives them that confidence that maybe they can share. So that's why I say, whatever you're going to do in the next space that I'm going to show you, model it as a class in the class space first. I hope that was clear. It probably wasn't.
Yeah, I got it.
And then there's another space, the individual space. And you can have as many individual spaces as you want. You get to name them and give them their purpose. As you can see, I have two. I have a parking lot where I share resources, but I have another individual space that is called the self-reflection space. And so instead of doing those logs, those reading logs, teach your students how to share what they're reading in the individual space, in their self-reflection space. So I did this. This is a mock-up. Okay. And I will drop the links to the I'm Sorry story that I actually created with spaces. And one of the activities to do is to create bookmarks. Just take, the activity is to maybe make a 3-step to remember how to apologize sincerely. And the first step is take ownership. Second step is be sincere. 3 is listen. And then it's like TBL. It's an acronym, But anyway, so I made these bookmarks. And then as a student, I uploaded a picture of it because I can do that as a student. And I said, I really enjoyed creating these bookmarks. Something that resonated with me about the story is we don't have to lose friends because we make mistakes. Taking ownership, being sincere, and listening can help. Oops, this is better. Taking ownership, being sincere, and listening can help heal a relationship. And so this is what I did as a student. This is not me as the teacher. And so the teacher can actually come into this individual space. It's only being shared between myself and the teacher. And they can come back and, maybe give it an emoji, give a feedback like, wow, Melody, I love your artwork. It really summarizes the story. Okay. And again, I would probably be a little bit more specific if I were not doing this in front of a lot of people, but you could make your feedback, it doesn't take long. And also, again, you have these creation tools so that if you wanted to, if this reader is maybe not a strong reader, maybe they're sharing through audio, you can choose the audio button and share. Should I do that, Alice?
Yeah, I would. I just think it's so powerful to say students' names. You want to encourage students to be readers. It can't just be that they've logged it down. It's so impersonal. Like, yep, I see that you wrote some pencil on a piece of paper, but what is your connection to the book? And so asking kids questions about their reading is much better for encouraging students to be readers. So when they know that you're paying attention and that you're encouraging them, and it's a conversation about their reading, that helps develop them as readers.
I love that you said that, a conversation. So that's exactly the point. You're having a conversation, and it can be the book that they chose. And I hope that it would be the book they chose that they could use in their self-reflection space. And maybe, the older students are probably going to be reading longer books. Maybe it's going to take, a week. They're going to be the same book, but as long as we're self-reflecting once or twice a week, I feel like they're digging in. You have time to create that feedback loop. And so I'm just going to practice here. It's recording now. And I would say, Melody, just like you said, Alice, using that name is so powerful.
Yeah.
Melody, thank you so much for sharing your creation. I know it's a little bit scary to create something and share it with everybody else, knowing that people might not see it the way that you see it. But I love it. I love that you captured the essence of the story, and I hope that you will keep sharing more. End record. If you don't like it, you can trash it. If you do like it, boom. It's so easy. And then when Melody, the student, logs in, she will have this feedback. Okay. And I love this audio part because it just allows everybody. Maybe you have readers that they're struggling and they're still reading, but the typing, like, it's just too much. So they're sharing what they're reading, but they're doing it through audio. I feel like that's acceptable. They're still engaging with their reading and they're sharing it with you, and they're giving you that opportunity to have that conversation.
Yeah, I love that. So we have some comments here. I'm going to put them up. We had Jillian Walker, who says, this is a great resource. I love the idea of it looking like social media. I mean, this looks exactly like Facebook in this particular view. And it's private, right? This is a private conversation. They could have done it. You could have had it where students are able to do peer feedback. That's really tricky in a lot of platforms. And so it could be peer feedback. But this particular example that you're showing us is creating a safe space around their reading, if that's what you feel is best for that student, right?
Yes, there is another space that's called group space, and that's where you would group kids or students together, and they could be, and that's actually a really good idea as well that I haven't explored, but I love that idea, Alice.
I'm going to say hi to our good friend Stephanie up there in the area. Thanks for joining in. And Jillian wants to make sure we remember that literacy is just so much more than just reading.
Yes. Yes. And engaging with that text. And that's why this is very simplified for what I would actually be doing in my class. I'm just trying to show you that it's easy to get started, but always modeling as the teacher. I think that's the most powerful thing that we can do. My actual children, they see me reading all the time, whether it's a professional book or a romance novel that I'm a sucker for a good romance. But reading is such a good way to balance your life. Sometimes it's a good escape. Sometimes it's a good way to, go deeper into something you're interested in. So showing that and modeling it, you can do all of that in spaces. And everything that I'm showing, again, is free for any teacher. So if you like this, just any questions you have. Do you want me to keep sharing or come back?
No, come on back. So Stephanie was pointing out that verbal feedback is so much faster. And I would like to point out you can do video feedback, because that's a lot of what I've been doing with spaces. It's built right in. I put it on there, and I try to remind myself that the only person who thinks about you is you. The only person who notices your double chin is you. So I don't worry about whether or not I look pretty. That is not really the point. And it's an individual space. Anyway, I'm not posting it out on Facebook, but making that personal connection with kids, being able to hold up a book if you have one, doing that modeling. I would encourage you to not be afraid to just don't worry about how you look. Just make the video.
Right.
If you feel and you could just do audio, but there is that video option.
Right.
And it is definitely faster to do verbal feedback than to type it.
And I want to say, wait, before you go into that, I just want to say that I dropped just now the lesson plan that outlines what I just did in a very specific way. So I just dropped that. And how to get started with your classes.
Awesome. Thanks. I shared out about one of my favorite people, Pernille Rip. She is a reading expert. You really want to make sure that you check out her blog and her tweets. I actually get an alert every time that she tweets, because she shares out such really great resources, recommends books that we know that your students would really love. Tips for developing readers. So she's a really great resource. Can't recommend her high enough. And Marcia says, I love how students can interact with classmates digitally, and it's great for independent, or she does independent study, so independent study or virtual students. Just really great all around, no matter what your teaching situation is. Absolutely.
And if you're not if I know that everybody's a reading teacher, but like Alice and I were talking about this, she mostly focuses in math, but math teachers are still reading teachers. But really, you could do this in any subject area that you're doing, having that individual space that, where students can share comfortably with the teacher. And I love this question, Jillian. Do students have to register for spaces too? So it's the way that you get students in the classroom is a lot like how you would do Google Classroom. You have a code, and we're coming out with QR codes this summer, ready for back to school, to make it a little bit easier for the younger students. But if you can get your students in Google Classroom, you can do it easily. If you're a pro district, like you actually adopt us, we do not want teacher money at all. Everything that you saw, again, was free for teachers. But if your school or district adopted us, we would like get everybody in there for you. Spaces, and I do work for Spaces, so I can say this: we would become your very best friend, and we would make it very easy for you. But if you are using the teacher, I lost my word.
Teacher edition, not the district
Yes.
edition.
Yes, the teacher edition. It's a lot like Google Classroom.
Yeah.
I just like it wasn't even there. Sorry, Alice.
Well, I was doing a setup because I'm working on a blog post on helping people to get it set up, and so it is pretty easy. You just put in, you can either title it and get the join link, or you can just sync it with your Google Classroom class, and it sends them an invite. So it's really easy to do.
Yes. And I don't know how good on time we are, but I want to just say a couple more things if you're okay with that now that I'm back and looking at the screen. Okay. I just want to say, whatever you do, model with your class, use that class space, start it there so that they understand what is expected of them. Okay. And then also, please join our Spacers educator community, and the ticker on the bottom, it's facebook.com/groups. I should just put it in the comments. I would love to see you there. And there's just so many great educators, and it's not just for reading. This is for, for other things as well.
You're of course CORPA and COPA compliant and all of that. You can't be in the EDU space without it.
Right.
So definitely.
Yes, as they should. And I love that Jillian said that, also we love educator feedback. If you go to our spacesedu.com, there's a place where you can actually give us feedback, and even while you're in there, these little bots pop up and say, what do you think about this? Because we love educator feedback, and we want to know more, like what works or what doesn't, what do we need to improve, because we are new on the scene. We're a couple years into this now. And so we're still like tailoring it to what teachers really need. And I'm going to drop that link to join our community, because nobody should be doing this alone.
Agreed. Don't forget the HTTP, so it's a live link.
Oh, sorry. Boom. Where would I be without you? HTTP. But it's super easy to find. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Go ahead and what I just demonstrated is found. Oh, that's my space. Well, I did a lesson plan with my story. And even if you don't have the I'm sorry story, also, if you go to ISTE, I will be signing copies at our booth at ISTE. But if you don't have that, in this lesson plan, I shared a video of me reading the story with the illustration, so it's okay. So this is a great lesson plan where I make sure to list all the steps. And then the other one, I just want to, the book chat, instead of doing the reading logs, again, create that student book chat. Everything is written out or, in the lesson plan so that you know what steps, and it always begins with modeling, and then going to that self-reflection. So thank you, Alice, for letting me come on.
This was so great. I just love all of these ways that we can interact better with students. This is what I'm all about. Good technology should not be about dumping your stuff online, but being transformational to allow us to interact better with students. And that is totally what Spaces allows us to do. So thanks everybody for joining. I hope that this was super valuable to you. And remember that spacesedu.com is free.
Bye, everybody. I appreciate you all so much. Keep doing amazing things like you are. You are the best.